So this is the second demo, and again, we're going to look at example 2, stock HTML at the top, right? Links into Bootstrap, title for the tab, favicon setup, all that. But then we get down to this delimiter, right? Angle bracket question mark PHP, and we flip from HTML land to code land. Again, echo statements like we saw in the first one. Not too much different there. But then also now some integration of some built-in functions that PHP has. Like any programming language, you're going to have functions for manipulating strings, working with dates, working with numbers, whatever the data type might be. You'll definitely have stuff for doing what do they say? The maths, for doing math. So you're going to have, square root, cosine, sine, tangent, things for doing exponents, right? You're going to have all those things. And so it's a full programming language in that. And so here we're just integrating in the date for fun. We can say, okay, what really happens back on the server, right? I'll change this to 2. Yeah, is that the server takes this file, runs it through the PHP interpreter, right? Leaves your HTML as HTML, basically just whatever you typed in prints out, and then it's got to go interpret your code in this code zone, right, from here to here. What does that code say? What does that code make me do? And that sort of thing. And then that gets converted to HTML, and it all gets bundled up and sent to the browser. So the date is in that. Now, again, this is, just remember that when we're talking about a browser, web client, and a web server, of course the server, it's a request response thing. It is HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, so it is sending text over, and this is the text. This is the raw text that we see down below that's going to be sent. Now, if that's displayed in the browser, I have it loaded right here, right? This is what that text will look like, okay? So we can see that date get generated, right? But you can see that down here, and that is from this particular command here, right? Now, one special thing is this dot operator. That's concatenation. How do you glue two pieces of string together? Every language has to deal with this. Java uses just the standard plus operator. There may be more fancy formatting. A lot of languages try to, I guess, piggyback or borrow things they've seen in C and C++, the printf. Python's done that. Java's done that. VB.NET has done that. I remember string.format. I'm like, okay, in VB.NET, I said that's basically C printf in that. But Python has a new templating thing. But there's always something about dealing with strings and gluing them together, right? Because there will be some fixed text you want, and then there'll be some dynamic part that you want. And the dynamic part in this case is the date, year, month, day specifier, and that sort of thing. But this is, I could be wrong, but if I jump back into the Wayback Machine for a little bit, that feels like Perl. Perl did something similar to that. Or there's another language that I used way back that used the dot as a concatenation operator in that. So every language is different. They get to decide, what character do you want to use for exponents, right? Some languages use the caret, some languages use a double asterisk, and that some languages don't use anything. You have to use a POW function. You'll do that in lab and that sort of thing. So it depends on the language, what characters they pick, and so sometimes there's some subtle difference in that. So this, again, is a short demo just to remind you there's a combo of HTML and code. Everything, right? We can prove at the bottom window here that the PHP interpreter, php.exe, is going to read through this file and do whatever it says, right? And so say we had no HTML in there, just code, and our code made JSON. Well, then it would make JSON and send that to the browser, right? So you do have freedom there to do different types of things. Like, you don't have to send HTML solely to the browser. It understands cascading style sheets, HTML, JavaScript, JSON. So whatever your code produces, you could say, hey, this is just going to spit out JSON, no HTML at all, and that, which would be valid web app architecture. Again, I'm actually going to fix my indentation here. This feels like it should be more like that. And make it proper in that. I would love if they shaded this different. That might be a feature request I asked them. It was a great feature. I think it was, yeah, it was NetBeans with Java Server Faces and Java Server Pages, where the code zone actually had a different background color. So visually, the whole thing pops. It was quite nice, actually, for a developer. But, you do have to have, when you're in here, at a minimum, 2 languages in your head, HTML and PHP, possibly more if we get into cascading style sheets and that, and JavaScript and JSON. All of a sudden, more and more languages or more and more formats we have to be aware of. But this is classic server-side web apps that the backend language is going to be another language that you have to be aware of and eventually get comfortable with. That's all for now.